This moment where reactions have been pouring in for the president-elect. First, from the president, Muhammadu Buhari, he congratulated the president-elect Asiwaju Bola Tinubu for his victory at the just concluded presidential election under the platform of the APC. The president said that he congratulates His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu on his victory. He believes he was elected by the people and that he is the best person for the job. And he also said that he will work with him and his team to ensure an orderly handover of power, considering that this is an international community have been looking forward to considering the contingent they sent to monitor the election. And from their various reports, of course, we will definitely read their various reports later on, but in a region where we've had skirmishes of military coup and long reign of certain political leaders, Nigeria seems to have, at another time, and again, set a new pace, set the pace for other African countries. But let's take a look at what we have ahead of us, which is the March 11 state elections. That's the gubernatorial elections that we're having. Of course, APC is still in the race for Lagos and, of course, for all the 36 states and that we have in Nigeria, and, of course, for the State Assembly. Let me start with you. How important, is this victory? What do you think the geographical map would look like? Because as it stands, even for the APC governors, would you say that victory is sealed since we already have a president from the All Progressives Congress?
There is something called the bandwagon effect. It's going to happen. And mind you, people did not vote for parties in the presidential election. They voted for individual. So there are a lot of people that voted for Asiwaju who might vote another person in this one. But if I should narrow it down to Lagos, where we are, where I know a lot of things going on, I could see His Excellency, Mr. Governor Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu winning with a landslide. Why did I say so? I know few people, I won't say a lot, few, that voted for His Excellency Peter Obi because they just don't like Asiwaju. Why they don't like him, I don't know. If you ask anybody, what is the problem, what is your beef with him, they will struggle to tell you anything. So, but they love Mr. Governor Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu. Why? He's young, articulate, brilliant, no iota, no grain of bitterness in him. And when you look at what he has been able to achieve in 2.5 to 3 years, I won't say 4 years because we had COVID, yes. We have the lockdown of the world. For the first time in the history of Nigeria,
we had the NSAS.
We have the NSAS as well. Which NSAS actually is not a Lagos problem. It is a federal government problem, which started in Delta, not even in Lagos. The whole Wahala started in Delta, in Warri, now came to Lagos, and that went, and he met these young people to say, hey guys, I am also part of you. He was brave enough to meet them, they gave demand and everything, but that's another thing. I love to go on the positives rather than the negatives. People need to look back, sit back, and look at where Lagos was in 2019 and where we are today in 2023. He has commissioned more housing units than late Pa Lateef Jakonde. He has commissioned more classrooms than late Pa Lateef Jakonde. These are verifiable things that people can go and verify. And for the first time in 2.5 years, he built a red line from Agbado going to Ingbo, which is going to be commissioned very soon. You see, the Gen Z are always in a hurry. Democracy is a journey. It's not a race. We each have to build block on block. You look at Lagos Ferry, I think it will be commissioning about 15 or 17 jetties across the state, across the 5 divisions, Ibile, Ikorodu, Badagry, Ikeja, Ekwe, you know, and when you look at everything he has done, you will have nothing but praises for him. And if you look at the previous governor, all, like my brother said, all the projects he was unable to finish, he completed it. His own legacy projects. You can see the Okwebi link bridge from Ojota to Okwebi link. Regional road is there that will be completed very soon. But people have forgotten that after COVID, the world economy shut down. We are very, very lucky in Nigeria today. Why? Because we have a family system, a social system, even though government should be taking care of us, but we have a family system where you can phone someone and say, oh, I'm broke now, uncle, something will come into you. And abroad, there's nothing like that. And abroad now, in Europe specifically, their energy bills are off the roof because of the fight between Ukraine and Russia, which is affecting us in Nigeria. The cost of bread has gone up. Apparently, Ukraine is the food basket of the world. And I hope Asiwaju will be able to tap into that as well to make Benue, Axis, Nasarawa, the middle belt of Nigeria, Nasarawa, Benue, Bauchi, to be the food basket of Nigeria. It should be a deliberate policy. But coming back to Lagos, Mr. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu have done so wonderfully well. You look in terms of health, they are building the largest children's hospital, Mercy Hospital, then the largest psychiatric hospital being built at the moment, right? 1,500 beds in Ejiri. Not just that alone, lots of primary health centers, general hospitals, upgraded, Immortal, the largest in Africa, in conjunction with Kebbi State. So we need to start looking at our states, our comparative advantage. The Mile 12 food market should be about 25 to 30 billion naira business, a day business. And nothing is from Lagos, it's from outside Lagos coming. And if you look at the numbers of cows being killed in Lagos every day, that is massive. For me, I can say APC will still be the governor. You don't go into, you don't do things on hatred because you hate someone. Then afterwards, what do you get? There's a system working, and you tap into it. Lagos is welcoming, no matter where you are from the world, either you're Nigerian or outside Nigeria. You don't want to know the numbers of people that come from West Africa into Lagos to come and do their shopping. And should you go on the Badagry road now, I don't know the last time you went on that road. I was there some few weeks ago, nearly done, nearly completed. And to me...
Particularly from Agbara to Badagry.
Absolutely. Agbara to Badagry, 6 lanes. You just shoot on. You know, so for me, those are the little things, and the government needs to come out and talk about all these things for people to see this is what we're doing. At a point, you will drive from the airport to Lekki, you won't see one single pothole on the road. And the alternative road is being constructed. Of course, they have some cash problems because I went to meet the engineers. What is happening? No cash in the market. If not, they would have completed that by now. And that is why the toll gate is not open, because there's no alternative route. You know? And when you look at what he has been able to achieve with the NSAS, with COVID, and most importantly, the 3 of us seated here today and the crew members behind the cameras, we might not even be alive today. Why? Lagos recorded the first COVID in Nigeria. The way he attacked it as an incident commander, I think he deserves a national award. You know, because we live, we forget things quickly, and thank God for the likes of Daya Adedayo that put things into perspective with our images. You know, because when you see the images, that is when memories come back to say, you know, nobody can go out, nobody can do anything. But he was out in the field, walking. And at a point, it was like he was the one controlling the whole country. Because you see virtually every day making an announcement, do this with all the protocols. And because the largest airport in the country takes about 75% of traveling flow into the country, if you have COVID, the first set is Lagos. So it's taking more of federal responsibilities than the state, even though they are making more money. But with more money, more children, more mouth to feed. That is what people do not understand. Look at Loma. If Loma doesn't work 24 hours a day in Lagos, everybody will feel it. You don't want to know the amount of money. I'm not a government spokesperson. I'm just a photographer that happens to know all, all these things. Yeah, all the things that are going on in government, because one way or the other, I will need to interact with a ministry or an agency to be able to do my work. Nigeria is the most difficult country to photograph in the world. Pick up your camera. I can't even photograph on TVC. Your security man will throw me out. That's
no, because you're a friend of the house. We won't do that.
No, but if I'm not a friend of the house, what would have happened? You know. So, so for me, I'm imploring the citizens of Lagos State to look at what Mr. Governor has been able to do, saving the lives of people like me, like us seated there, to make sure that no harm comes to us during COVID. And NSAS, which was a federal government wahala that the state has to bear the consequences for. And I pray nothing like that happened. And if you look at the damaged, I mean, the most painful part of it, because I'm a student of history, is the High Court that was burned. Lots of documents that we will never see again. You know, I mean, for someone to even think burning a court, you know, what for? What for? You know? So
yeah,
that's it.
The president-elect had said in his speech that to the progressive governors of the party and the nation and to the party leadership, you know, I owe you a debt of gratitude. And to the entire campaign organization, I thank you sincerely, which shows you that Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu has a soft spot for persons that are progressive. That's the progressive governors, of which Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu is one of them. If you take a look at, as it goes into the Saturday race on March 11, what do you expect to see? How do you expect the party to rally around one of their own?
Well, talking about March 11th governorship and House of Assembly elections, there are some states that governorship elections will not be taking place, like Ekiti, Edo, Kogi, Imo, Osun, and also Ondo states will not be having governorship elections. I think about 7-8 states thereabouts. By and large, I expect, or I predict, victory for Governor Sanwo-Olu. And secondly, I also want to predict that there is possibility that we have low turnouts going into that election, because particularly because of, number one, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. The reason why some people who have never participated in our electionary process before, and they went out, all out to secure, to collect their PVC and cast their votes on February 25th, was because of Asiwaju, a payback time for Asiwaju. We can also not forget the obedient movement. Some people, reason why we saw it everywhere, Obi, you know, they went all out to collect their PVC, not because of Labour Party in particular, but because of obedience, but because of His Excellency, Mr. Peter Obi. So Asiwaju is not on the ballot on March 11th. Mr. Peter Obi is not on the ballot on March 11th. So definitely go and write it down. We had a total of about 25 million votes altogether in this just concluded election. So let's see the figure that we will have come March, just about how many few days to come, March 11th, it will drastically come down. I'm not a soothsayer, but I know it will drastically. Obi is no longer on the ballots, March 11th. Tinubu, reason why some people also went all out to collect PVC and also come out on February 25th. Though I also said we need to interrogate. When we had, and my big brother also said that he's not comfortable with the claim of INEC that we had about 93 point something registered voters. Because eventually, the number of voters accredited for that election was 25 million plus. So where, I don't know math, I don't know math too well. So where is the remaining
70 million.
Thereabouts.
Nearly 70.
Where is the remaining figure? But that is for INEC to prove and show Nigerians that this is what we said we had 93 registered voters, and this is the figure for INEC to back it up. So March 11th, I predict a victory for Governor Sanwo-Olu because sincerely, he deserves a second term. He has worked for it. Despite all the challenges, the COVID, like my big brother mentioned, COVID, NSAS and the likes. And that NSAS, I live very close to Oyingbo. Anytime I pass or I drive through that BRT corridor, wow, I don't know why. The damage we done, I don't know how many years it will take Lagos to recover from the damage. And whether we like it or not, this is a public property. It's not, governor is not going to ride on BRT. Asiwaju will not ride on BRT. Atiku Abubakar will not ride on BRT. Obi will not ride. It is for we, the masses. And yet, some people went and burned down that, oh God. So, we will see a turnout, but relatively low compared to March 25th. And I want to appeal to Nigerians. The way we all went out to vote for our choice candidate, let us also go out. No violence, no issue, no wahala. Let us go out and perform our civic duties. You have the right to vote for whoever you like. It is your fundamental human right. Nobody can take that away from you. Nobody can take that away from me. And whether we like it or not, we have seen family that the father is Obi, the mother is Tinubu, the child is Kwankwaso. That is how it will be. We can never agree on, we can never be on the same political alignment. It is not possible. And that's the reason why God created us the way He has created. There are some who are Muslims, who are Christians, who are the traditional worshippers, who are white, who are blacks. How come God did not create us the same way? How come we are not, all of us are not black? How come all of us are not Christians or Muslims? That's the way God has created us.
How come some are leper, some are robot?
Although we have various political inclinations, but we must definitely agree at some point as to who we want, to lead us going forward. But do you see the APC governors, if you take a look at the 36 states, apart from the states where we have off-circle elections, which is about 6 states or thereabout, do you see the APC coming up tops, considering the Asiwaju factor, that the fact that he is now president-elect of Nigeria?
From the result that I've gathered, so far, results that have been officially declared, I think the APC has won about close to about 60 seats in the Senate. Yeah. We have 109 senatorial seats. We have 360 House of Representative seats, and we have seen some surprise. We have seen there are some governors that were making an attempt to go to the Senate. They lost out. There are some prominent sitting senators that have lost this battle. There are some prominent sitting House of Reps members that have lost this battle. That shows that the election, the vote of people really counts at this. I don't doubt the transparency and the fairness of this election. Though I still believe that the fairest election we have ever had is June 12th. My brother said this one is I have no
from 1999. From 1999.
Okay.
From 1999.
So I'm saying that whether we like it or not, this election has been transparent. And INEC, there is no perfect election in the world. Likewise, there is no perfect system. It is just for INEC to build upon the success of this election. So I'm saying, whether we like it or not, we are going into March 11th governorship election all over the country. By what we have seen in this election, APC had about 8-point-something million votes. Though, of course, I predict it to come down. But I can't Shiwaju for this election. Some people are just for His Excellency Peter Obi for this election. So going back into state governorship election, I expect that APC will still have majority of governors that will be returned, or new governors that will be elected come March 11th, gubernatorial and House of Assembly election. Do
you also have the same sentiments?
Oh, yeah, I do not see...
If you take a look, particularly at one state that really interests me, I'd like to see the outcome of that election is Oyo State, for instance.
Governor Seyi Makinde. No, the same thing happens in River State as well, yes, where they voted the APC. You know, there are two different things, like my brother said. You know, that one was national. This is now local. And the governors will try everything in their ways to make sure that things goes their ways. There might be one or two upsets, but it's not going to be the way we've seen PDP losing in their state to national, which is not local. But when it comes to local election, it's a different ball game. And, you know, there was voters' apathy. There was no money. Even people can't get money. 1,000 naira now is like gold when you give it to anyone, you know. So people cannot transport themselves from point A to B. I'm sure that will be taken care of by March 11th. I think there will be more people in Lagos coming out than the previous election, but generally up north, I do not see that numbers going up. It can only come down.
So your final word, not your final, final take on Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu as we wait for the swearing in May 29.
Sound health, wisdom, and as a person that knows me very well, I would say you should run a government of national unity. That was the era of this administration that we are in. With a government of national unity, you are likely to get better results than a winner takes all. Reason being that, as we have today in Nigeria, we are at the crossroads. Government national unity doesn't mean they have to share positions equally. Even if it is just one, the significance of it alone can douse tension. My brothers in the Southeast have not had it so good in the last few years because of the challenges in terms of security. There is no need for it. We are one. President Muhammad Buhari has been able to decimate the insurgency in the north, and we're not hearing of kidnapping anymore. And for the first time in the history of the country since the Shagari's administration, this administration has spent so much money on defense. Nobody in the history of Nigeria has spent so much on defense. And I'm looking forward to President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, to recruit more people into the military and into the police, because we don't have the numbers. And I also look forward to him to make a slogan, Japada, you know, by getting people who have the technical know-how, the Andrews of 1984-85, for them to come back with the experience they've garnered over the last 30 to 40 years, to come and take it back into the country. And the only way they can come back if there is security. So I can leave TVC at 1 a.m. in the morning to say I'm going to Ibadan. I want to get to Ibadan before 3 in the morning. The moment we have that, and there is electricity across the country, Japada will even become another slogan. And if Nigeria can get it right with this administration, our economy will not just blossom. Nigeria will be respected in the Committee of Nations, and you will see people, that has always been my dream, you will see people queuing up at our embassies to have a Nigerian visa and to be Nigerian citizens, because this is the most beautiful country in the world, and I can prove it to anybody.
Well,
Thank you.
In the words of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he says he will be a fair leader to all Nigerians. Well, this is Decision 2023 on TVC News, a special coverage on the Presidential and National Assembly elections, which wrapped up a few hours ago. I want to thank our analyst in the studio, Dayo Adedayo Tinubu's personal photographer and a Nigerian documentary photographer. Thank you so much for coming on the program. And I also want to